Got it. Turn off the volume. All right. And share. Copy. Here we go. Where's that stupid thing at? I just sent you the link if you want to go ahead and come on, go. If you want to go ahead and tweet that out.
Twitter now so I can repost it.
Yeah. Copy.
Although if you tweet it out, I can just retweet your tweet.
I think I got a lot going on here. Let me just let's double check in here.
Did you tweet out the link?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I gotta do it yet. I gotta post.
You send it to me on my phone?
Yeah, send it to your phone. I know you're using your phone, but
I can do it.
Phones. Cool. Information has been updated. Cool.
I'm gonna tweet it out right now.
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
I just sent that.
Cool. And I'll keep an eye on the chat while we do that. All right. And 1, 2, 3. And welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful night out here in Southern California. My baseball season has officially ended with another sweep of the Dodgers up over the Giants, and it's good to see just the Raiders come out on the field, play a football game, real live human beings playing football. Makes you feel good about the fall and everything like that. The Raiders are, they made a lot of moves this offseason, so we're going to talk about that and see who's going to try to make this football team. Ryan Holmes, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. We're podcasting off the victorious shores.
Yes, victorious shores.
The Pacific Coast. So the Raiders win 27-11. You know, as my wife says, the preseason games only matter when they win. If they lose, the only thing that matters is did anyone get hurt. So it didn't look like there was many injuries, and the Raiders come away victorious, and they had that game in hand pretty much from opening kickoff. So it was good to see the Raiders go out and get a decisive win, although it's just a preseason game.
So before we get to the game, I did want to say a kind of friendly fire there with Kendall Vickers, right? Kendall Vickers got hit. It grabbed his head immediately. I don't know severity. I was out and about, so I was in and out of the game. I got a big gist of the second half. Did he come back into the game after that play? I don't think he did.
I think the sack occurred after that because they got the sack later on in the game where he had the stunt with Kuntz. So I think he got hit earlier, in the game.
Oh, okay. I was early in the game. Okay. All right. So I was in and out of it. Hit that chat too. I know folks are watching, so go ahead, hit that chat. Give us any questions that you might have. For the show, RTPOW podcast is my Twitter handle, and RHOLM22 is Ryan's. So let's just dive right in here. So the Raiders, I thought, I think it's almost like, you see Josh McDaniels kind of gesture to maybe the play calling to get the plays in a little bit faster. He wanted to play at a certain tempo. I think they accomplished that part of it. Once they got to the red zone area or the fringe red zone area, that's where kind of the problems occurred with number 75, Brandon Parker.
Yeah, I think the first thing that stands out is the starters, for the most part, played a couple of series in this game on both sides of the ball. Granted, Derek Carr wasn't out there, Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, but, for the most part, the starters were out there on the offensive line, primarily on defense at the linebacker, and then in the secondary, other than Denzel Perryman, which is kind of what you saw with the Patriots. They play their guys in preseason. The Raiders have not done that under John Gruden over the last 4 years. So it was good to see the offensive linemen out there for the whole first half, primarily. Josh Jacobs got 2 series. But yeah, as you mentioned, Brandon Parker over at left tackle, he probably hasn't got a lot of reps during camp, but it was the same Brandon Parker. So we could talk about him running around in shorts and shells, and he looks great. But when the lights came on tonight, the same Brandon Parker that's been an issue on this roster showed up. And hopefully that was him going to the left side. Hopefully he goes back to the right side and is a little bit better. But if he's not, the Raiders have a massive problem at right tackle, which most fans knew heading into the offseason, into the draft.
What do you think about Illuminor coming in, and did he kind of solidify that a little bit? And I think on the run, I think it was a touchdown run where he kind of still continued to block in the end zone, like kind of just play a little bit more nastier. The biggest thing about by Brandon Parker that drives me crazy is, like, I just feel like he's that little dog who knows he's a little dog. Like, he doesn't, like, he is a massive human being. Like, he is allowed to throw the first punch. Like, he really is allowed to do that. And I'm not sure why he doesn't do that. But he get that bull rush gets him every time. Did Illuminor kind of, not saying that he's, Trent Williams or anything like that, but, like, did he make you feel a little bit better about if he had to come in and play?
It's tough on the broadcast view without the L22, but from the quick glance watching the broadcast view, Illuminor was solid. He is who he is. He's going to be okay in pass protection. He's not going to get a ton of movement in the run game, but he's not going to go in there and make a ton of mistakes that are going to cost you. Now, can he hold up at right tackle in the AFC West against elite pass rushers every week? I don't know if I'm ready to say that. But if you're just looking for a consistency down in and down out, he's probably better than the other 2 guys currently. But like I said, it's probably going to affect the run game because Parker and Leatherwood are much better run blockers than Illuminor. Illuminor is probably the best pass blocker of the 3.
Yeah. So Illuminor got some better play there.
And he slid over and played left tackle as well. They had
Lester Cotton a lot. Everybody's doing stories about Lester. He did do a I was gonna say Lester Cotton much ballyhooed about his interest into the 4A years of the offensive line. What about how did he look? I thought in the run game they looked pretty good. I know we got caught up in the stunt. You kind of talked about that one when we were texting back and forth. What are your thoughts about Cotton, for somebody who hasn't played in the NFL? Been in the league for a little bit but not played.
Yeah, we got to take it with a grain of salt. I thought he played well in the run game. He had a couple of ace blocks, a couple of double team blocks with James that were pretty good. He opened up some holes. Pass protection was just okay. But he's going up against the interior line backups primarily for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's not facing all pro caliber guys inside that he's going to need to block. He's not facing Chris Jones. But for tonight, it was a step in the positive direction. He played much better than I anticipated he would based on just the limited film I've seen of him over the last couple of years. And if he can continue to run block and open up holes in the run game, then he's going to get a chance to win that job. And I thought the Raiders ran the ball really well. They had a lot of different variation in the scheme they ran out there. They threw a lot of running back screens. They ran power. They ran crack toss. They ran inside zone. So they ran a lot of things. There's a lot of variety in the run game. And the guys held up for the most part. And then the running back depth really showed out tonight. I think all the running backs, other than Kenyon Drake, and played well. But in Kenyon Drake's defense, he was running behind the twos with Nick Mullins primarily, and they were just getting no movement when he was in the game. He didn't really have an opportunity to get in the open field like the other backs did.
Yeah, and I think that Jacobs kind of set the tone too early. I mean, I know in a season game, but like I thought it was good to see him out there. Like, he looks quick, burst through the hole. I like to see that from Josh Jacobs. I think he's tough. I think you're going to see some bigger runs from Josh Jacobs this year, because if you can get him into that down the field 6-7 yards without being first point of contact, he can break a lot of tackles. So I did like that to see him kind of run the football right out the gate.
Yeah, it was surprising to see him play 2 series, and I was at the scrimmage last year when they played the Rams, and he looked phenomenal. Similar quick burst. The question for him is, can he stay healthy? Because he starts to get nicked up, and then he starts to lose a bit of the explosiveness. So the good thing is the Raiders have plenty of backs back there to help him out this year. But if they can keep him healthy, he's going to have a giant season behind this offensive line. And then we got to look at Amir Abdullah. Obviously, I think he's going to make this team after what he showed tonight. He was returning punts. He was returning kicks. He scored a touchdown. He caught the ball at the backfield. And then Zamir White, he, as advertised, physical inside runner, and he ran over a guy on 3rd and 1 to get a first down on a toss play where he just lowered the helmet, lowered the shoulder pads, and ran right through a linebacker. Yes. So we didn't even see Brandon Bolden tonight, but the Raiders definitely have a stable of running backs that they can go to that can play all kinds of different styles and different schemes.
Yeah, no question about that. Poison University on YouTube says Brandon Parker should be cut. He just signed a contract, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But we're not impressed with Brandon Parker. Poison. I definitely hear you on that. Raiders, we need a true backup quarterback, because what I saw won't cut it if Carr gets hurt. I thought Stidham didn't play. I thought he played all right in his ball game. If he's playing a big time team, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously, if he's playing the full allotment with all the starters, sit him out there against Kansas City, that's gonna be a different conversation. But I thought he made some good plays in this ball game. I thought that the sideline throw to Tyron Johnson was a tough throw. He made outside the numbers. He made a good throw there. He also made a good throw to T. Billy on the deep ball that he kind of dropped there. As far as that goes, what are your thoughts about the backup quarterback for the Raiders right now?
I guess the easiest way to answer, I think fans are spoiled with Marcus Mariota, or the illusion of what Marcus Mariota could have been the last couple of years. Yeah. But there's no quarterback out there on the market that they can go sign to be a backup, or where if Derek Carr gets hurt, they're not winning the AFC West with any other quarterback that's currently a free agent, or they could acquire via trade. They're going to finish last if Derek Carr gets hurt. Yep. The division is just too stacked. So I don't think there's a real way to really address that problem. I would be concerned too if Derek Carr gets hurt and you got to play Jared Stidham for 6 to 8 weeks, but they're going to have to do that. And I thought he played well in this game. He knows the offense. He got into the right plays. He hit the check down when he needed to. He made some throws down the field. He made a nice throw on a crossing route. There was a drop by Keelan Cole on another play. So I thought overall Jared Stidham played okay in this game, about what you'd expect for a first preseason game.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Let's see here.
Nick Mullins is the one I'd be worried about, because he did not play well.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He's gonna be gone. Leatherwood. What do we think about Leatherwood's performance here? Kind of, I did see a lot of these plays, and I thought the pressure seemed like it was coming more from Parker's side than his side. But I mean, I think in a run game, he could end up being a really tough person to handle for some of these teams. But it's all about the footwork and the hand placement in the pass game. What are your thoughts about Leatherwood here?
Yeah, quick initial reaction. Again, without seeing the L22 on this, is I thought he played fine, better than I expected. There was no glaring plays where you were just like, oh, Alex Leatherwood again. No penalties from him, no false starts, no holdings. There was one play on Twitter where it looked like he got beat around the corner, but it looked like he was helping the B gap. There was a potential blitzer there, and then the guy was just pushed wide, and the quarterback stepped up, so no issue there. I think if he does end up winning the starting right tackle job, they're going to have to help him plenty early in the season, especially against the Chargers. When they face teams with good rushers, they're going to have to chip. They're going to have a tight end over there, but you can do that when you have Colton Miller on the other side of the line. So, but just based off today, I would have to think Alex Leatherwood had a much better performance than Brandon Parker did.
Yeah, so I feel a little bit more comfortable there, which I can totally understand.
I was trying to watch Dylan Parham as well. I did not come away that impressed with Dylan Parham today. I know it's his first action in the NFL, but he got beat a couple of times. He was late after snapping the ball, picking up pressure. So there was some stuff just, quick, again, from the broadcast view that I didn't think Dylan Parham played a particularly great game either.
Okay. All right, good. We'll see about that. I mean, it is, especially for line play, excuse me, it's very difficult to see, without that front and back all 22 view as well. Let's see here, the extra wide receiver. We talked about that, like that third wide receiver, if you will. We know about Adams, we know about Renfro, but who is it going to be? Is it going to be Tyron Johnson? Is it going to be Keenan Cole? Is it going to be the Robinson, Demarcus Robinson? What were your thoughts there? I thought that initially, I felt like he could on the sideline play. They challenged it. He had 2 feet down, but give me 2.5 there. Drag that foot. Let me know that, and also that deep ball. Go ahead and catch that as well. But I do think he is a guy who does give them an element of like over the top ability that no other one in that wide receiver room can do. And plus, he plays special teams. That critical fumble that he forced that led to a touchdown in that Week 18 game last year against the Chargers.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a committee where, based on the match, just based on the game plan going into the week, it could be any one of those 3 or 4 guys. Matt Collins didn't get any targets today that I can remember. He was running down on kickoffs. I thought was interesting early. I know he's going to play a lot of special teams. Demarcus Robinson came up when they ran that on the touchdown play. He was the one that did the crack block that came in and got the defensive end so Illuminor could get outside and spring Abdullah. So Robinson had a couple of catches, blocked okay there. I don't think it's going to matter. After watching today, I literally think every target that goes to a wide receiver is going to be Waller, Renfro, or Adams, and they're going to throw a bunch of balls to the back. So whoever that other wide receiver is out on the field, I don't think they're putting up gaudy numbers anyways. So it might just be Johnson just because of the speed element, if there's enough trust from Derek Carr where they throw some balls down the field. But then he had a deep ball that he dropped. So maybe it's Matt Collins. Yeah. But like I said, I think at the end of the day, it could be a different guy every week, just depending on what the package is. And then when we break down the snap counts after the game, they all might get 20 snaps each. Like, I don't think one of them is going to get 50 of the 60 snaps. I just don't think that's how it's going to work out.
Yeah, they're gonna have to maximize the opportunities that they get. I mean, there's no question about it, because there's not going to be a lot of balls left over for them to catch. If it's going to be, we got Renfro, Waller, and Adams here. Let's see here. Did we get anything from Moreau today?
He caught one ball.
You got one ball.
Yeah.
So I say Moreau
10 or 12 yards.
12 yards. So special teams, they look. Cole and Carlson just look like it's just. I mean, if you're a special team coach, you just have to just like worry about something else. I mean, those two look like. I mean, Cole had like a high snap. He just grabbed like a shortstop and just put it down and just boom. It was not a big deal.
I almost sent out a tweet on the punt return that went for a touchdown that got called back. Like, Cole was running after that guy like he was trying to make a play, and I'm like, just let him go. Like, we do not need AJ Cole pulling a hamstring in the Hall of Fame game, chasing after a returner going down the sideline when you're up 20-0. But he didn't get hurt. Fortunately for the Raiders, he's fine. But I think about bringing in another punter, just put him on ice. He does not need to get hurt running down guys in preseason games.
No, I mean, it's hard to when you're a pro athlete, that switch is hard to turn off. But like, I'll turn it off for him, if you will. Turn it off for him, because we don't let him go out there. I totally agree with that one. Defense, the Chargers. Yeah, they don't. Okay. Same from himself. Same from himself. Right. Um, defensively, they look pretty crisp there as far as defense goes. Uh, let's see here. Get a little unstable connection here, but defensively, I thought they looked pretty. I thought they looked pretty good. You're seeing like vanilla defense, vanilla offense from everybody. So, but they didn't score. They didn't give up a point until late in the second half. What are your thoughts about the defensive unit? And I hope Kendall Vickers is okay because he got some pressure in this ball game as well. But defensively, looked like Tyree Gillespie and also we had Darius Phillips was out there balling out for him a little bit today.
I think the interesting thing, I was just kind of looking at personnel groupings. They lined up in a bunch of different fronts. They did run a bunch of 3-4 in the second half. I think the biggest thing that stood out is Nate Hobbs was lined up outside almost the entire time he was on the field. The only time he went inside was when a running back was lined up out wide and they had to bring over a safety or a backer. So he basically played outside, lined up against wide receivers. Darius Phillips was the one that went into the slot when they went three wide. It was not Hobbs. So maybe the Raiders are looking at Hobbs as a full-time outside guy. Maybe he'll slide in once Everett is healthy and Mullen. But, if they line up right now in a base defense with two corners, it's probably going to be Hobbs and Yassine, would be my guess. And then I thought it was interesting, Kuntz played a ton in this game. Like he was in the game from first drive all the way to pretty much middle of the fourth quarter. So they're getting a long look at him. I think he had some nice pass rushes off the edge. He got some quick pressure, didn't get any sacks, but he got in the face a couple of times. Merrick played 2 series. Abrams played 2 series. Gillespie got a lot of run there on the defensive backfield. But two guys that stood out. I thought the defensive backs altogether played well. Number 44, rookie from Ball State, Bryce Cosby, showed a lot in the slot. Pretty physical, came up, made some plays, had a nice pass deflection. I know he had a pass interference later in the game. And then I don't know who 41 is, Chris Jones. Long corner. He made some plays on the ball. He got his hands on the ball once. I like the length from him and some cover skills. I don't know if he's going to make this team, but he's a guy that, I would circle in the program if I was a pro scout and I was going to another game to watch the Raiders. So Chris Jones, I thought, played well. Cosby played well. And a lot of these guys are going to end up on the practice squad. But I thought Butler, the linebacker, played quite a bit in the second half, and he looked all right. He was running around number 58. I liked what I saw to him. The defensive line in general, I was watching Butler and Farrell a lot. I didn't see them do much of anything in the second half when they got run on the field. That interior defensive line, a lot of questions coming out of this game because I don't think any of them, other than the sack by Vickers on the stunt, I don't think any of them really did anything.
Yeah. They do have. I mean, like that's the biggest. That's one of the biggest holes on the team. So we'll have to see if they make a move there, or if they see or if they just know that Hankins is going to be. Even with Hankins and Nichols, I think they could definitely can use another guy. There's any question about that. As far as that goes, I don't know if like the running laps and everything like that helped or anything like that. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of penalties for the Raiders in this game. I'm just going through the stats right now to see about how many penalties there were in the game. If that was
one in the first half, there was an illegal formation on Hollins. There was one in the second half where Vesey lined up and covered a guy. He had a pass interference. And they probably had 4 or 5, and I think 3 or 4 of them were in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so it wasn't like the what you come to expect. So, not really, so not crazy, but it's as far as that goes. So so hold on 1 second, doing 20 different things at one time. But yeah, I'm happy to see that. I think they did look like they had like a lot of purpose there. And running the football, while watching those wide runs, those toss plays, it reminded me of the game when the Raiders were playing the Patriots in New England, and the Raiders were kind of getting things going, and then all of a sudden they just said, "Hey, let's see if they can defend this," and they kept on running outside the whole rest of the game. I thought that was really nice. I haven't seen them be that efficient, kind of running the outside. I mean, it was clean. There was on the touchdown run. I mean, did Abdullah get touched? in that play. So they look good there, and they just have to be better in the red zone. And I think being able to run the football in the red zone, Ryan, is a great step in that direction.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the red zone of the Hall of Fame game when you don't have Carr, Waller, Renfro, or Adams out there.
Yeah.
The fact they were getting there helps. They did punch it in twice on the 2 touchdown runs. So, you'd like to see them throw the ball in and get something there. But, Stidham ran in another one, so they had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. If we're week 3 or week 4 and they still are kicking a ton of field goals, then we have real issues. But, right now, I don't think that's that big of a problem. But the fact they could run the football, and I just, like I mentioned earlier, I like the different ways they were able to do it. They didn't just line up and run power. Yeah. They were running all kinds of different schemes in there. And I think the interior of that offensive line, again, we'll see what they look like against the Vikings next week. We'll probably have a more formidable front. And we'll see what they look like against the Patriots and the Dolphins, who probably have better defenses than the Jaguars. But if they can get interior push and get those running backs to the second level, when you have Zamir White and Josh Jacobs, they're gonna move the ball pretty easily on it. Because if they can run the football, now you open up the play action. Now they got to drop a guy in the box, and now you got those guys on the outside just running free.
Mentioned defensive tackle Lancaster. Anything from Lancaster? Anything from Billings in his ball game that flashed? Or
I don't know if Lancaster even played. Billings started.
I thought I saw 63 play today, but I don't have the snap count.
Billings was out there, but he didn't do anything where you just noticed it right in the middle of the play. Again, it's line play is really tough to break down on the TV copy unless it's an outside guy who gets some rush going. I didn't focus on Billings when I was watching the defense. It was more, Kuntz, and then later in the game, I was focusing on Butler and Farrell, kind of the younger guys that might have roles on this team. We'll see if I can get the all 22. I don't know if they're going to post it for the preseason, but if they do, I'll get my hands on it.
That's Julia Lou. Let's see here. Who I'm looking at the stats real quick. So it looks.
The one thing I did notice is our super sleeper Sam Webb was really good as a gunner tonight, and he did get some snaps early in the game outside. So maybe he's a dark horse to make this team. And then I don't remember seeing a Meek Robertson. I don't know if he didn't play. I kept looking for 21.
He got hurt.
Okay.
I believe he got hurt. So that's why he didn't play. As far as total tackles, you had Darian Butler had 6 and three solo tackles. As far as that goes. Let's see. Phillips seemed like he was around the football all day. Had four tackles there. 3 solo. Jayon Brown played as well. Tyree Gillespie was kind of in on that fumble as well too. So yeah. I don't think the Lancaster didn't play. I was trying to thought it was somebody else. Then Luke Masterson. I'm trying to go through this.
Masterson flashed. He looked all right in the run game.
All right.
He's the backer from Boston College.
Yeah. And Diablo played a little bit here with a couple of tackles here and there. So that's kind of talks about all those things here. As far as special teams, you talked about the gunners as well too. Like those guys. You mentioned who'd you mention as far as Webb?
Sam Webb, number 48.
Sam Webb, 48. So Sam Webb. Anything else on special teams that you kind of noticed?
No, I was trying to see who was getting down on the tackles on kickoff. They were kicking it short and then angling it to the sideline to try to see some of those guys get down on coverage. I want to say 48 was Webb, and then I want to say 41 Jones may have been playing a little bit of gunner, but Webb consistently beat his guy and got down the field pretty easily. So that was good to see that they had a potential. He can make this team if special teams doesn't. He shows enough as a defensive back to make it as the 5th or 6th corner.
So no major injuries. You got a big victory, 27-21. Vikings up next.
Vikings on the 14th.
Right? So on the 14th. So you got a little bit of a break here. And in the schedule. So see one thing. One name I was looking forward to see if he got any burn today. I think he was hurt again. So yeah, hurt, right? So he didn't play at all today, right?
Which guy?
Cleveland Farrell. Cleveland Farrell.
I did not
Cleveland
see Farrell. No, he didn't play.
Yeah. So Farrell I heard as well too. So that's pretty much everything here. What anything else you want to? I know once we can kind of watch the game back and be able to, and maybe hopefully they post the all 22. We can get more info for you guys on our thoughts about the game. But we didn't want to sneak in a instant reaction because football is officially back now. What did you overall? What was your take away from the ball game? I mean, listen, it's a first preseason game. We all know it's basically non-alcoholic beer, preseason football. But what were your thoughts about it?
Well, they took a couple of deep shots. I'm excited about that. I think the biggest thing, and I sent a tweet about it, they executed the screen game, which we haven't seen since Charlie Garner and Napoleon Kaufman days. We're talking 20 years as Raiders fans. So if they can get the screen game going, and they attempted probably 8 to 10 screens in this game. They weren't shy about it. So if they can keep those linebackers in and have to respect the screen game, and then you can get some shots behind them. I just like the efficiency. They ran the football. They executed some screens. They took some shots down the field. So I thought the offense played pretty well, and the defense got off the field on third down. So that's another thing as a Raider fan we haven't seen a lot of in the last 15 to 20 years as well. So we'll see. I mean, they're playing the backups for the Jaguars. We'll see what happens when the competition steps up. The interesting thing we have is the Raiders are going to play on the 14th, and then they have a quick turnaround. They play on the 20th, 5 days later, across the country against the Dolphins. So who's going to play on the 14th and who's going to play on the 20th? Are they going to play more guys in the home game, travel less guys on the road? And then they have a quick turnaround against the Patriots. I think it's 6 days later on the 26th. So they got a nice break right now for 10 days, and then they're going to have 2 games back-to-back here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wish we could actually – kind of like you did with the Rams when they were playing the Rams in the joint practices. That's kind of seems like where they really get the work in as far as the preseason goes. But nobody really got hurt. We'll have to see about Vickers and that. I think Vickers. We'll see. I think Vickers played after that. But for the most part, I mean, they walked away pretty much scot-free. They were efficient. They looked strong at the point of attack, except for the number 75. But I do like I always I mean listen I just feel like I know it's a passing game. I know everybody wants to see the ball fly up and down the field to the wide receivers, and wide receivers are now the head honchos behind the quarterbacks offensively. But I do love the way they ran the football. I think that's something that's really nice to see. Them run the football, and you talked about the different types of runs. Like you don't know where they're gonna run the ball out of. Is it gonna be? Are they gonna running it at you? Or are they gonna running it, by you, or running it on the outside of you? With those tosses. So those are really nice to see, and they kind of mixed it up. And Stidham seems like he knows the offense pretty well. I don't think he's. Listen, there's very few. It's hard to find 32 dudes to play quarterback. My God, you're gonna have like another guy be a backup. That's hard to do as well. Really quick, I didn't want to. I know the whole thing, the war between the NFL and Deshaun Watson has begun. What are your thoughts about? What are your thoughts about that? As far as I mean, they seem like the judge they have in place is somebody who the NFL's worked before. So as far as this appeal process goes, it sounds like the league wants to do a year. I think the contract the fully guaranteed contract that he signed really angered a lot of owners, and this is kind of the flip side of that. Along with what was allegedly done.
Yeah, I think the NFL wants a year, and they're going to do everything they can to get it. This is part of the CBA where they could go to arbitration, and Goodell gets to choose who it goes in front of. The players voted on this, so for Deshaun Watson and his parties to come out and say, it's 6 games, let's leave it at that. You don't appeal it. Like the NFL has the right to appeal it, and they obviously are. And I don't think it's going to be 6 games. I think you're probably in the 12 to a year range at this point. we'll see how long it takes for this process to go down. But the Cleveland Browns are definitely going to have to play Jacoby Brissett quite a bit this year. And I think they brought in Josh Rosen and maybe Josh Cribbs. I don't know who the other quarterbacks are on that roster, but it's going to be Jacoby Brissett is the starter. But, Deshaun Watson hasn't really been remorseful. He hasn't shown any remorse. That's kind of that's out there too, that he's done anything wrong here. So I don't think he helped his cause when he met with, I think it was Sue Robinson's her name. She didn't believe anything that he said. It's basically what she came out and said. So she went off the precedent of what the NFL's done in the past. You can argue whether this is violent or non-violent. I don't want to really get into those conversations, but Deshaun Watson's going to have to pay for what he did. And 30 people accusing him of something is different than 1 or 2 people.
Yes, it's very, very true. Very true. And I just, I kind of backed off. I started to get into it with the Browns guy. And I was just like, I'm going to take a step back because I kind of just felt like this is going to be handled in a different way. And the NFL's going to step in here, and the NFL just has these fires to put out. I mean, Stephen Ross, they're putting out a fire over there. Who knows what's going to happen in Washington. So as far as that goes, so a whole lot of stuff going on in the National Football League as far as that goes. But it's a good night. Raiders win. Look good, especially offensively, defensively. Special teams was, Cole and Carlson are the bosses over there. They know what they're doing. Second coming of Seabass and Leckler over there. I thought it was nice to see the Richard Sherman. Richard Seymour's wife had the 92 in silver and black. I did not think that. I didn't think he'd be doing that as well. I didn't think he'd be doing that. I thought definitely he should have paid. I mean, I didn't see the back of it. The back could have been Patriots. I have no idea, but I thought it was kind of cool.
It looked like a Raiders jersey.
Again?
It looked like a Raiders jersey.
It looked like a Raiders jersey, right? So I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. And, some players, you realize you're getting a little older because some players that you watch playing are going in there. I love Tony Baselli for years, and Dick Vermeil going in makes you – there are some coaches. I mean, one day we have to have a show. There's some coaches who probably should be going in the Hall of Fame if Dick Vermeil is going in the Hall of Fame. I like Dick Vermeil. I'm just saying, just we'll throw that out there as well. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Can't wait for the next game.
Can't wait for the next game. The slate is now clean for this program, and then we will hit you up next time next week. Hopefully that all 22 we get that for you so we can kind of get more in depth. All that stuff. I did a quick kind of cut up of like Amik Roberts and some of the stuff he didn't do well last year, and I got some stuff coming where he did do well last year. So I do think if you're gonna have Hobbs outside and you hear from camp that Amik Robinson is playing, well in the slot, especially fighting with Hunter Renfrow, that's actually good news. So iron sharpens iron, as they say. All right, Red Nation. Peace. See you next time.
Take care.